Welcome to No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I'm your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hintz.
Hello there.
We have an interesting show tonight.
We do, definitely
no
interesting.
Guests.
No, this is unusual. No in-person, just you and me. And we've got some really good topics to talk about this time. A little different defense here.
We've got on location. We've got an agricultural executive order, which chafes my butt. And
we're going to talk about monkeypox. You're welcome.
Monkeypox for you. Here's what we're going to start with, folks. I have decided that I am done and I'm fed up with talking heads who keep telling lies, keep doing spin to do their own narrative, and through repetition actually get people to believe all of their misinformation. And I've had enough. I've tried to be above the fray, ignore it, people will know better. But the problem is the talking heads just keep going and repeating it, and no one is countering it. And so the staying out of the gutter, I just don't think, I no longer think it's the best approach. And so I'm going to start hitting people head on. When they attack conservatives, when they attack Bastiats, when I say Bastiats, I'm referring to legislators, conservative legislators who have come together loosely to try and further the principles of the platform of the North Dakota Republican Party, specifically those legislators, and me personally. Because for some reason, I'm a lightning rod for those types of people that like to spin little webs of misinformation. So I'm done. And you're going to probably hear me say, I have a lot of segments over the course of the next several weeks, because I'm done. We'll take these guys on. The first is Scott Hennen, radio host with WDAY, right?
I don't know where he's at.
I don't know.
Listen to him.
What's on your mind, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Sorry, seriously, I have time to listen to that.
So Scott's a well-known radio host. He's on 1130 The Flag. And he just has an issue with me, and he has an issue with the Bastiat Caucus, and it is the craziest thing. Now, he has some good connections. Charlie Kirk, who I think is fantastic, he's the founder of Turning Point USA. He's interviewing him, and it's just maddening how he's trying to dupe. He's trying to fool Charlie Kirk with his own spin to try and say something negative about the Bastiat Caucus. There you've got Charlie Kirk, and with the single microphone, you have Scott Hennen. So here's the thing. I want to play some clips, some audio clips, and then we're going to discuss as we go through. So, guys, go ahead and play it.
And I want to talk about this one-party rule thing, because I think that's actually more interesting. I have a whole theory on this where the Great Plains states and some of the Midwestern states that have such dominant Republican legislatures actually do worse with the questions of freedom than the states that are 50-50. And that's because the Democrats run as Republicans, because everyone's a Republican in the state. Whereas Florida, it's somewhat a 55-45 state now, Republican to Democrat, and they are unafraid to push forward huge conservative policies because they have to go back to their constituency and prove that they're doing something for their welfare, for their life, and for their future. Where in these states, as long as you're not a Democrat, you're going to win in most of these districts.
Yeah.
And so Florida's a great test case for this, which used to be a battleground state, but Florida's been way better than North Dakota on many of these issues. Ron DeSantis has signed anti-critical race theory pieces of legislation. Ron DeSantis has gone after the tech companies. Ron DeSantis has signed open carry, just so you know.
The media, too. He's taking them on. 60 minutes.
Media. Yeah, but, we travel with a small team here. Your firearm laws are way more restrictive than most states across the country here when it comes to out-of-state open carry. It's like this weird, bizarre thing that you're not allowed to open carry after dark here in North Dakota if you're not a resident. Anyway, that just really bothered me because I'm visiting here, and it's like I'd like to be able to protect myself.
It's the Wild West. It should be. I mean,
I would think so, unless the NRA website is outdated, which I don't think it is. But I have this whole theory that if you are not competing, then liberty is going to die. And so this one part, I don't know what the solution is, quite honestly. The solution is to have Democrats run as Democrats and Republicans run as Republicans. But it's not a good thing. I see this happen in Wyoming as well, where it actually becomes less free because there's no competition to win people's votes over.
All right. Charlie Kirk is right on. He's bringing up a point that I have talked about frequently, and that is when people say how great it is that we have an uber supermajority of Republicans in the legislature and every elected office. I don't think it's a very good thing. because it has been shown, as Charlie pointed out, we red states that are so red, people know you can't get elected unless you're a, quote, Republican. And so they put the R behind their name without any inclination whatsoever to conservative principles. And in fact, I've pointed out that North Dakota, I forget the exact figures, but looking at the American Conservative Union, who ranks state legislators in every state, if you look at them, the Republicans for North Dakota, this is a couple years back when I did all the calculations, we were, I believe, the 6th or 8th least conservative.
Wow. Compared to
in the entire United States.
Oh.
So the Republicans, even in the very blue states, were most frequently more conservative than North Dakota Republicans.
That is maddening.
It's a fact. So Charlie gets it right on the money. He's talking to Scott about Dems who run as Republicans. Now, Scott takes it into a whole new world. Let's play here.
Yeah, and I think that involves the citizenry to say, is this a Republican or is this a Democrat running as a Republican?
Bingo.
Yeah, and I think we don't have it figured out. When I say we, the citizens of North Dakota and those engaged in the political process haven't figured out the right way to do it. It's not the vote scoring that they're doing now.
Yeah, Scott says it's not the vote scoring that they're doing now. You see, Scott is an apologist for the moderate, big spending, non-conservative Republicans. He is through and through. And what he'll say is, I'm not interested in accountability. I'm not interested in ratings, even ratings from a respected organization, as I mentioned, American Conservative Union. He doesn't want that. He's opposed to accountability. It's phenomenal because if you try and pin someone down, they're going to say, well, who knows what this means? Who knows what that means? It's all into interpretation. And so he wants to give these folks a way out. Play the next one, please.
Let's finish on the libertarian angle of sort of, okay, what do we do about this when you have supermajorities in legislatures that actually are Democrats getting elected as Republicans? And then we're going to go to some calls.
Okay.
So
are you confused?
I'm irritated.
Right.
What is he talking about the libertarians all of a sudden?
So here's what happened.
Like,
Scott went on a break.
That in there.
Scott went on a break, and during the break, he tried to dupe Charlie Kirk into believing his lies about Bastiat Caucus and that this group of legislators are libertarians and they're tearing the Republican Party apart. If you think about it, Charlie's trying to talk about Dems running as Republicans, and suddenly Scott's bringing in libertarians.
Right.
No one said anything about libertarians, and in fact, Scott is so wrong. Bastiats are not libertarians. We have said through and through, and we'll say it in this segment and the next, we focus only on the North Dakota Republican Party platform. Play the next one.
Charlie Kirk is with us, Turning Point USA. Wonderful event last night, the Bell in Bismarck. Sold out crowd, pretty fantastic. And Charlie gracious enough to join us for the whole hour, this hour, and then going to do his own radio show for a nationwide audience. Soon, maybe coming to radios near you here in the heartland of America. So I described a situation that is happening in North Dakota where a group of folks called the Bastiats. I happen to think their heart's in the right place. They are conservative, and they see what you see in that this drift of, wait a minute, Republicans aren't all Republicans. There's some Democrats there. Yeah. So they are forming a caucus and trying to mold and shape the Republican Party in their eye. And what they've done is they've taken, for instance, a gun bill. I'll just use that as an example, or pro-life bills, and they put forward a piece of legislation that they know has no chance of getting the governor's signature, that they know has no chance of getting the current majority of the Republicans in the legislature to vote for, and they say, let's vote on that. Then the true Republicans, the true conservatives within the caucus, not all of them, but a majority, say, you know what? Let's pass something that actually could become law. And then they score those, and they go around and censure Republicans, censure good Republicans, okay? Not all of them that they censured were good Republicans. Some are the Democrats that should have been Republicans that you're talking about. Is that the way to affect change as a libertarian, I guess, wing the Bastiats of the Republican Party?
He's all over the place.
Because he doesn't make any sense. He is intellectually weak. Intellectually weak with these arguments. What he is saying, follow Scott's logic here, if you will. He is saying that the Bastiats will put up a good conservative bill. Maybe it's on gun rights. The Bastiats have put up so many good bills on First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, 10th Amendment. I mean, educational choice, no mask mandates, et cetera, et cetera. what he's doing is saying the Bastiats are going to put up a bill that's a very good conservative bill. The problem is they're putting it up, even though they know it won't pass, with a supermajority of Republicans. And he's calling them the true Republicans, right? He's saying the true Republicans know it's not going to pass with a supermajority of good, true Republicans. So the Bastiats, who are trying to push through good conservative legislation, are the bad guys because they're not giving cover to the progressive, moderate, big spending, squishy Republicans, who in Scott's eyes are the true Republicans, the good Republicans. Intellectually dishonest, intellectually weak. I've got one more segment on this. I think we're going to hold off on it. I talk too much, but here's the scoop. Scott goes on, and he talks about adhering to the Republican platform and how that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. We're going to hear more on that as well. But he talks about the Bastiats and how they are just having they're trying to mold the Republican Party in their own image, whatever that might be. When in fact, I don't know how many times we can say it, we are adhering to the Republican Party platform, which I'll go through the platform in the next segment. And with that, we will take a break. Folks, stick with us. We'll be right back.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Go for Launch 2018 series winner. Without further ado, it is my honors. Regina. The winning team is the Fleming River Excellent.
Oh my God!
They won!
Hey, we're back. It's no apologies. I'm going to jump right in. We're talking about Scott Hennen's misrepresentations and repetitive fibs, we'll say, about the Bastiat Caucus. I had a longer segment, audio segment I did not play for you, but I wanted to point out that Charlie Kirk responds and talks about libertarianism and how that's different than conservatism, which can be very enlightening, but has nothing to do with Bastiat Caucus. Right. He discussed it because that's what Scott brought up. Additionally, he says, and Charlie's smart. He's not buying into being duped by Scott. Scott's trying to bring him in, and he said, for example, not sure if that even applies to what you're talking about. Right. Charlie said that about what he was saying, but he says, I don't like to get in on these types of local issues because I don't have all the facts. Right. But at any rate, let's go ahead now. We have the next podcast with Bob Paulson, Representative Bob Paulson, who is a Bastiat member in the legislature. Super solid guy, fantastic guy, so principled, so much integrity. And he contacted Scott Hennen and say, Scott, you keep on bashing the Bastiats. I don't think you understand what we're about, because Bob Paulson is a gracious person, and I would not afford that same leeway to Scott Hennen because I know better. Let's play the first clip. This is Bob Paulson, Scott Hennen.
State Representative, District 3, a member of the Bastiat Caucus. Bob, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing well, Scott. How are you?
Good. Bob sent me a note and was upset with some comments I made about the Bastiats, so let's start there. What of what I've said concerns you, Bob?
Well, I think that there's some confusion, misinformation being put out about the Bastiat, not just from you, from lots of folks, but the concept of us not being Republicans or perhaps being libertarian. And the goal of the Bastiat Caucus is to encourage one another to follow the Republican Party platform. That's our focus.
You mentioned the Republican Party platform, which, by the way, the national platform, the state Republican Party platforms often becomes sort of a benchmark of, are you Republican enough? I'm not sure enough people pay enough attention to the platform to say that's a good litmus test or not. But I think you're right to say, hey, this is the platform, and this is the platform, we want you to follow it. So that's something I think is fair to say, well, either pay more attention to the platform and how it's put together, or don't.
What is he saying? It's probably not a good enough thing as a benchmark.
Right. He's saying some people consider it a benchmark. Here's the thing, Scott. What does it mean to be a Republican? I can tell you, in North Dakota, it means exactly the planks of the party platform. That's what it means. If it doesn't mean that, then what do you suggest it means, Scott? I can tell you what you suggest. What it means is anyone who says they're a Republican is a Republican. Anyone who says they're a conservative is a conservative, because you do not allow definitions, because you do not want accountability. If there are definitions, you can look at someone's behavior, look at their voting pattern, and determine whether they have actually followed the line, towed the line along that platform, along that definition of a Republican or of a conservative. If you look here in the North Dakota Republican Party platform, which is the same thing, word for word, that the Bastiats follow. Individual liberty. I'm not going to go through in great detail. They're lengthy, but the planks: individual liberty, personal responsibility, limited government, peace through strength and rule of law, lower taxes, right to bear arms, family integrity and the moral tradition, quality education, and legislative integrity. That last one, that's the one that you're missing completely, Scott. Missing completely. All right, go to the next one, please.
What would you say is the most glaring example where the platform is not being followed by the Republican majority?
Well, limited government, lower taxes would be probably the top two. We've grown government quite a bit. We just added to that this session, and we did some good things. But for example, there was an attempt to eliminate income tax on Social Security income, and that passed the House with flying colors, 92-1, and failed in the Senate, 21-26.
Well, again, that would seem to me that at that point you say, district by district in the Senate, that should be an issue in the next election, right? I mean, I don't think that necessarily means anything other than, why did.
Scott is tripping over himself. He is apologizing for the big spending moderate Republicans in the Senate that refused to give an income tax cut for people on their Social Security benefits. It passed in the House with flying colors, failed in the Senate. So Bob is pointing out, here's a good example, Scott. You're asking for an example. Here's a good example. We like lower taxes. Us Bastiats like lower taxes. Why? Because it's in the Republican Party platform, Scott. Yes. Now, what happens when the Senate doesn't pass it? No accountability from Scott Hennen. What he says is he's tripping over himself. He doesn't even make any sense. He ends up by saying, well, it doesn't mean anything, then why it didn't. What? What does that mean?
Right.
What does that mean? Yeah. Nothing. You cannot. Scott had Bob on, but he did not actually enter into a discussion with Bob. He talked through him. He did not listen to Bob. Play the next clip, please.
The focus of the Bastiat Caucus is to follow the Republican Party platform, encourage one another to submit legislation that does that, support legislation that does that, that's submitted by others. I mean, the goal is to be true to the Republican Party platform. And I think that anybody who runs as a Republican, their constituents should expect them to adhere to the Republican Party platform. That's why they put the R by their name.
Yeah, and again, I think I bet if I polled not legislators but Republicans, Republican voters, and I said, what is the Republican Party platform, maybe 2% would be able to tell you.
I think that's not true. I think that people are very aware of what the things are that are in the Republican platform.
Well, again, what he's saying is we don't want to have anything, hard copy of anything that we can hold people accountable for, because it's very easy to point to this and talk to your legislator and say, did you lower my taxes? Did you decrease spending? Are you allowing for me and my family to have personal accountability and responsibility? Are you protecting the Second Amendment? Are you preserving the family tradition? If you don't have a platform, how do you hold someone accountable? How do you know whether you want to re-elect them?
It's like not having any rules. I mean, they're like if you're raising your children and you have no rules for them, you're not going to have any accountability for them. You're not going to raise children who have any type of compass at all. And it's so simple.
Here, you're tapping into something, Lori, because if you don't have rules, what happens is, and you don't have a platform, what the party is a club.
Yep, it's a club.
And the rules are not the platform anymore. The rules are what the club sets.
Exactly.
Which is the good old boys club. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you don't want a platform, because you have to play by the rules of those that have been there a long enough time, because if you play by the rules, maybe you'll get to climb the ladder too. Next clip.
My point is this. If the platform is going to be the litmus test, everybody should get involved in the litmus test. Most especially voters. Especially voters, because, so I don't necessarily say, again, here's where we're going to differ, I think, Bob. I don't think the platform is anything other than a litmus test written by Bastiats to be able to say, you Republicans aren't following the platform. I don't think it's very constructive at this point. I do agree with you. Lower taxes would be good. And as Charlie Kirk said to us recently, Bastiats are good at a couple things, but not the whole picture.
Okay, now I just want to know, Lori. Okay, there are two things here. Okay, wait, let's play a game.
Okay.
You tell me, is it A, a lie, or B, a misrepresentation? Number one, the North Dakota Republican platform is created by Bastiats.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Who creates the platform?
The Republican Party.
The Republican Party. The district chairs from all 47 districts.
They get together.
Everyone votes on it. And as our good friend Rob Port, most accurate columnist, will tell you, there are essentially few to none Bastiats in the executive committee, in the district chairs. So the Bastiats didn't create it. Number two, lie or misrepresentation.
Okay.
Charlie Kirk said that the Bastiats are good at a couple of things, but that's about it.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. Ding, 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 ding. That is a lie. Charlie Kirk did not say any such thing about the Bastiats. He did talk about libertarian purists.
Right.
Because Scott told him
that Bastiats
that we are libertarian purists. Right. And Charlie said, oh, well, libertarian purists, da-da-da-da-da-da. Nothing about Bastiats. Yep. All right, next clip.
Bob, one of the beefs I have with the Bastiat Caucus has been the leadership of folks who have previously said that they're, for lack of a better term, an atheist. And that was Rick Becker. who told Ole Larson some time ago, another Bastiat, that he was atheist. And so I say, wow, this is a group of folks led by someone that doesn't have the faith walk. Now, it's America. Anybody can, be an atheist or whatever, but that's going to make me a little cautious when it comes to that. I also see a focus less on values issues for some in the Bastiat Caucus and more on the economic, which, again, tends to get the libertarian value. Am I wrong in that assessment?
That's not accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, that is not accurate.
Okay, number one. Lie number one, I am not an atheist. I have never been an atheist. I have never said I'm an atheist.
Wow.
In fact,
Where does he
I
get all
told
his
Scott
stuff?
Hennen, he says it all the time. That's the thing
so
is,
whack.
if you repeat a lie frequently enough, it becomes the truth. I think Scott probably actually believes it. Back in 2016, I told him to his face that I was not an atheist. Now, I don't need to defend a damn thing.
That's none
but
of
the
his
point
business.
is, when he got it straight from the horse's mouth, he ignores it and he keeps repeating the lie. And then the other thing, value. The Bastiats are not about values. Who put out the protecting female sports bill?
Right.
Right. Bastiat. Next clip.
I'm going to play something that Charlie Kirk said to me in a conversation, which prompted a lot of this discussion from people. And again, anytime I bring up the Bastiats, I bring up my opinion. It's just my opinion. And I'm amazed at the vitriol I get if I'm not a cheerleader for the Bastiats. It's unbelievable. It's flat-out vitriol.
Okay. It's flat-out vitriol because you're telling lies and people are sick of it, Scott. That's why. It's not because you're not a cheerleader. We don't need you to be a cheerleader. We need you to stop telling lies. Next clip.
So I brought this issue up to Charlie Kirk, and here was his response related to that wing of the Republican Party, if you will.
It's hard to say. Probably not. Again, I want to be very careful because I don't live here, so I'll yield to your wisdom here. Because I find when I weigh in on these local issues, I make more enemies than friends because everyone, you're right in the middle of it. But I'll just speak more generally about the libertarian thing.
At least he did not fall into the trap. I'm happy that Charlie Kirk actually did not fall into that.
Yeah,
ridiculous
Charlie said,
trap
I'll yield to your wisdom. So there's more clips, folks, but I think that's all we're going to cover tonight for these two segments. I just want you to be aware, you should stop taking crap, stop accepting lies from people. I have now stopped it as well. I will not accept it. I will refute it. I will fight it. I hope that you're going to stay in the fight with me. There's more of this to come, folks. Stick with us.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Prairie Patriot Firearms and Training is the region's most complete gun and training center. 5-lane indoor range, a gun shop, and a certified training facility. Firearms training courses are offered daily for new, intermediate, and advanced shooters. If you're not comfortable in a classroom setting, Prairie Patriot offers one-on-one private lessons, from basic self-defense training to concealed weapons testing, along with a full line of guns, ammunition, holsters, and concealment clothing. Prairie Patriot, 3930 Memorial Highway, prairiepatriot.com.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go. We deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hey folks, we're back. It's No Apologies, your after-hours oasis of sanity. I'm your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hintz.
Hello there.
By the way, go to Facebook or somewhere and let us know if you like the idea of us refuting the lies or if you think we should take the high ground. I'm not going to listen if you say choice B. Right. Lori.
So I came across this article that I stumbled on from a local TV station in Atlanta, Georgia, the other day, and the headline grabbed me. Let's start with the graphics right off the bat. It says, passenger with human monkeypox traveled through Atlanta airport, CDC warns. So this is WSB TV in Georgia, and the quote says, a U.S. resident who had spent some time in Nigeria before heading home is the first reported case of monkeypox in the U.S., according to the Centers for Disease Control. The CDC says the traveler left Lagos, Nigeria on July 8th, arriving in Atlanta on early on July 9th. They had a typo there. After the layover at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta, the traveler continued on to Dallas later on the 8th. The traveler is currently in a Dallas hospital. Now, the deal with this is that this is catching my attention simply because of the timing of it. What is also interesting to note is that Fauci today was pretty much completely obliterated by Rand Paul. So the goal right now is to instill another set of fear in you. So let's go to the next quote too. CDC experts say the infection is similar to smallpox, but milder. They say lab testing show that the strain the U.S. traveler is infected with is a strain most commonly seen in West Africa, including Nigeria. The strain is fatal in roughly 1 in 100 people, but the risk of death increases for people with weakened immune system. I'm sensing a pattern here. Okay, on the next one, it says the virus spreads between people via respiratory droplets and through contact with body fluids, open infected sores, or items that have been contaminated by any of these routes. The CDC emphasized the primary path of human transmission comes through large respiratory droplets. Okay, you're getting a pattern here. The CDC says there was an outbreak of the virus in the U.S. back in 2003 after the virus spread from imported African rodents to pet prairie dogs. I was like, wait a minute. You can have prairie dogs as pets? I had no idea. That's a lot of peas. Sorry if I'm popping my peas. Anyway, kind of got squirreled there a little bit. But anyway, large respiratory droplets. So that's the thing. The headline, again, reads, monkeypox, CDC warns, and then it says, they use the not very thinly veiled attempt to grab your attention with warns to instill fear. So I'm paying attention to that. Then, same day, another article. Let's look at this one. This one, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says lockdowns can return. Lockdowns can return in low vaccination areas. Here we go again. Narrative, well, here's the deal. The narrative is exactly the same sort of thing, and they are pushing this same fear installation so that you are looking at this, and this is exactly what happened the first time, and they just have to, give you this information. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said COVID-19 lockdowns could come back in regions with low vaccination levels during an interview on Friday. Do you think we could see lockdowns again? CNBC's Sarah Eisen asked Yellen, do you think our economy can handle going through something like that again? So, we have solid rates of vaccination in many parts of the country, Yellen replied, but certainly it's something that could happen in areas, wait for it, where vaccination rates are low. So now what they're doing is they are purposely targeting the rural areas and the low vaccination areas because they're deniers. We're deniers. Okay, so what's going on here? Same two different stories, same day, same fear-mongering.
Be afraid.
Be afraid,
Be
be
very
very, very
afraid.
afraid. Now, I've got one more poll quote for you. Earlier this month, Yellen predicted several more months of rapid inflation following the economic blow dealt by prior COVID-19 lockdowns. Now, see, that was the face that I made too, and you'll notice that it is like italicized. That is emphasis from me, so that you can look at that with a critical eye and go, yeah, no, it was the lockdowns because of the people making the lockdowns. Anyway, I think we will have several more months of rapid inflation, Yellen says. So I'm not saying this is a one-month phenomenon, but I think over the medium term, we'll see inflation decline back toward normal levels. But of course, we have to keep a careful eye on it. Her prediction came after the Department of Labor announced that consumer prices jumped 5.4% for the year ending in June. The increase is the highest rate of inflation seen since 2008. No one needed to lock down. That was the plan all along.
Yep.
We know that now, but you know what's going on right now? They are grooming us. We are being groomed by these two articles. They came on the same day. The goal is to groom us for what is coming.
Constant fear. And the inflation is from printing money.
Yep.
They printed money because of the alleged economic harm by COVID-19.
Which they created themselves.
Yep.
So
thanks.
Right? Thanks a lot. Well, I just wanted to pay attention to this sort of stuff when you hear this. Listen to it with a discerning ear. Know what's going on, and your red flags should go up. Just saying.
It's going to be one thing after another.
Yeah.
You got monkeypox, Delta, Gamma,
Lambda. Yeah, I know. When
Crazy,
I heard
man.
monkeypox, I'm like, here we go.
Yep.
All right.
All right, folks. Next up, we are going to have on location Peacock Alley, downtown Bismarck. Stick with us.
When you're buying windows, make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Hi, I'm Jesse with the Window Source. We only sell you the best windows and doors for the best price. Call the Window Source. Just because you pay less doesn't mean you get less.
Calling all first responders. Join us Friday, July 30th for First Responders Night at the Bismarck Event Center. The Bucks take on the Green Bay Blizzard with a 6:05 p.m. kickoff. For more information on tickets, please visit bismarckbucks.com.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go. We deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
All right, folks, we are back, and it is time for On Location. We're at the Peacock Alley, and enjoy the interview.
One thing now, especially with how the progressive agenda has gotten so radical and out of hand, when you talk to young folks, a lot of people have the shared values that they don't even notice because they don't talk about it. I know so many young women and men who are pro-life, but one of the big things that we're lacking, and you can say this across the entire educational system, is we're not educating people on why they feel a certain way, so they're unable to have a conversation.
You know what?
They know they're pro-life. Yep. They know that abortion is wrong. They know it's the ending of a human life, but they don't feel comfortable going and having a conversation at Peacock Alley about it, or in their college classes or in high school. And so they keep it inside, and then the conversation is never had, and all you hear is the left's agenda. So that's something that, we're working very hard on. We're having 2 banquets this fall, and we're actually bringing in a speaker, and his workshop is 2 hours long. Wow. And it discusses, this is the pro-abortion argument, and this is why the pro-life argument wins every time. Here are the tools to win in that conversation, because you don't want to argue. You don't want to show up and put a camera on somebody's face and yell at them about how they're wrong. But with our people, we have people in our corner, and we just really need to work on supporting our members and making sure that they can have that conversation.
Very, very, very cool. So at the University of Mary, was your experience pretty pro-life there, I would assume?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I know that there's a huge contingent that usually is at that mature life, right? Am I right? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted
Very
to make sure.
Catholic, very pro-life, for sure.
Yes. It's all good too.
Okay, so moving from abortion, what other issues, not in your professional life or what have you, but what other issues are you most focused on, most concerned about, most interested in?
Oh, let me tell you.
I'll let you think, Maria.
So one issue that we've seen in the state of North Dakota and is going to continue to come up is physician-assisted suicide and euthanasia. This year we had House Bill 1415, that was the title this year. Pam Anderson. And basically it was a bill that would effectively legalize physician-assisted suicide in the state of North Dakota. And your face, that's the face we have for all of our members. And they look and they're like, there's no way. And it's not even that we have the support right now to pass a bill like that, but it's that it's been introduced 4 times. It's been introduced the last,
keep trying.
And every time.
Fairness, I did invite Representative Anderson to come on our
That's
program
right, and she
discuss it, but she wasn't able to. So.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing I talk about, especially with our members, is we have to keep educating ourselves, because the people who introduce that bill, they're going to look at the opposition, they're going to look at the floor debate, they're going to look at the testimony and figure out what issue did people have with the bill, and they're going to tweak it. And then in 68, they're going to submit it. And then in 69, they're going to submit it. And they're just going to keep doing it until they get the support or people get so desensitized. Because that's the biggest thing is desensitizing. We had the fourth trimester day. Do you remember that bill? Not to get back on abortion.
Fourth trimester?
Fourth trimester. Have you
Most
heard of fourth
ridiculous-
trimester?
ridiculous thing.
That's a live baby.
So there was they started seeing this in Europe where, they did this where they were like, hey, you know what? We're going to have fourth trimester day. We're celebrating mothers in postpartum.
No, you mean those birthing persons.
The birthing persons.
Well,
And
I got up on the floor and I talked, I forget what I said. said, but something to the effect of, if we're going to be putting government resources and money for fourth trimester, I mean, good Lord.
First of all, trimester.
Well, right, doesn't make sense.
It's
But it's
three.
like, why not? How about like 42nd trimester? Give me some help with my teenagers, you know? I mean, how about having government in your lives so deep that you invent a nonsensical term like fourth trimester?
Look at the bill. What does the bill do? The only thing the bill would do, well, actually it was a concurrent resolution, my apologies, the resolution.
Right.
The only thing it does is it introduces language, fourth trimester, it's tying mother to baby 16 weeks after birth. Then you look at countries like Belgium and Canada, or Belgium and the Netherlands and Canada, where women are killing their babies up to 5 years because it's a fourth trimester abortion. Talk about desensitizing our populace. Talking about desensitizing everyone to these horrible things, but that's what they do. They insert the little things, and then they just keep bringing it back until they actually make change.
Yeah.
So
It's called incrementalism.
Incrementalism. There you go.
Overton window. Overton window.
Overton window, yeah. You swing it over a little bit more, and then you swing it a little bit more.
Yep.
Yep, it is.
And how about for you, Maria?
Oh gosh, I think just what she was saying with like the dehumanization, like you dehumanize everything. I mean, it's become more about like just what the mother wants, and then it's become more about like if they're, you know, their worth depends on or determines like their stage, and that's just like wrong. That's like saying like a 4-year-old isn't more important than a 14-year-old, you know, like it's just it's just awful. And I just think that, I don't know, I think like a lot of people these days, like they've just taken the Lord out of everything.
That's
and
true.
we just need to bring him like back in, and we need to just get back to what's truly important in life.
Love
you know?
Oh, those girls were delightful.
Yeah.
They were just an absolute delight.
They were fun.
From North Dakota right to light.
Always
Maria.
fun to do on location. All right, folks, stick with us. We will be back. We've got an agriculture-related executive order.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Spas, etc. Yeah. You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you could pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
You know what? You did it. You made it. It's the final segment.
Thanks for hanging in
Welcome
there.
back. We're going to cover an executive order, and we're going to do it in fast fashion.
Okay. All right.
So this is an executive order number 676, a proclamation on National Agriculture Day by Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
On March 22nd of this year.
Yep, and here you see that it says that Black, Indigenous, and other farmers of color have contributed to sustaining this nation. They fed their communities, gave their country new food products, and nourished communities with rich food traditions. Yet, for generations, they have faced the harmful effects of systemic racism. On this National Day, I remain determined to address racial inequity and create an equitable space for all to participate in the great American enterprise of agriculture. Now, so this is about agriculture. And what he needs to do is bring in race, like always.
Every single time.
Every single time is race,
really.
race.
So frustrating.
Now, here's the thing. Of course, people of color contributed. They always have, they always will. This is not news, you see, because we don't look at things through the lens of skin color. We know they contributed. We don't need to point out the obvious. And the harmful effects of systemic racism, let me remind you that there was indeed, in the past, systemic racism. And it was indeed through the federal farm agency, the regulations and so forth. There's no doubt about it. And now that's no longer. So that's done. But the point is that you are trying to impose this idea of systemic racism on society as a whole when it actually occurred for real through federal government agencies. Exactly. So shame on you, not on the rest of American people. We'll go to the next graphic because he also likes to bring in addition to race, of course, climate. And he says, farmers, ranchers, and foresters play a critical role in combating climate change. From sequestering carbon in the soil to producing renewable energy on farms, we will continue to innovate and create new revenue streams for farmers and ranchers while building a resilient agriculture sector.
How many trigger words can you get in there? Like resilient, they're using all of the same gobbledygook speech again in every single time. And whatever happened to the whole big cow fart thing? I mean, seriously, guys, we're like, what are they even talking about half the time?
Yeah.
These things are ridiculous.
Well, I mean, and it's been pointed out to us, carbon dioxide is plant food. So if we want to eliminate carbon dioxide, what are you going to feed your plants with?
Right?
I don't know. That's crazy. Now there's a couple of other things, though, that I think are even more interesting than the redundancy of talking about race and climate. It says in here, on National Agriculture Day, we recognize the unique and irreplaceable value that farmers, ranchers, foresters, farm workers, and other agricultural stewards have contributed to our nation's past and present. So that's just the usual pandering. That's how all of the proclamations and executive orders start. It goes on to say, over the last year, workers and other leaders across the agriculture sector have stepped up to ensure a stable food supply in the face of incredible challenges prompted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Wrong!
Farm workers, who have always been vital to our food system, continue to grow, harvest, and package food, often at great personal risk. Local farmers help to meet their community's needs by selling food directly to consumers. That's called capitalism. Small meat processors increased their capacity as demand for their services skyrocketed. That is also called capitalism. Restaurants found creative ways to bring food to members of their communities. Capitalism. Grocers and grocery workers also navigated new models such as curbside pickup and online sales. That is called capitalism, innovation, entrepreneurship.
Being creative.
That is working around the impositions of government into your lives, the intrusions, the incursions on your freedoms. Yes, because we live in a free society, because we live in a capitalist society, yes, farmers, grocers, everyone tries to figure out how to best provide for their family despite your federal overreach. Yes, that's your proclamations. Screw you. Screw you. We worked around you.
Yes.
You don't get to be part of this. You don't take moral platitudes because of the crap that you put everyone in the United States through. You and the blue governors and some of the red governors. No, you don't get to play with that. That's not part of your moral superiority. You have enough of that elsewhere. This is the entrepreneurs of America because we live in a capitalist society that creates products that are the very best for the very lowest price for everyone in the nation so that we have a better standard of living. Even when we are faced with hardships put upon us by the federal government, by our state government, by our local government, we figure out ways because that's what we do.
This is just more of the same. Every single time we see one of these executive orders, it's the same sort of thing, proselytizing, preaching at us about this, that, and the other thing, and with no basis whatsoever for what they're saying.
No,
Happens every single time.
Absolutely. To me, this just jumped out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pointing out, hey guys, you're really awesome. We put in some roadblocks and you figured out ways around it.
Right.
And so we're going to make a proclamation saying you're so awesome for figuring out how to not allow us to kill your livelihood.
And honestly, the best thing government can do is just stay the heck out of agriculture. Just stay out. Let capitalism reign.
The other thing is, what is this great personal risk?
Yeah, I don't really understand
What the
that either.
hell?
I looked at that too.
What the hell does, hey.
What does that mean?
I planted and harvested some potatoes, and holy
I
crap.
realize that there are dangers within agriculture, but I don't know what they're talking about in this.
Well, not more so because of COVID. This is stupid.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. I don't know how do we keep doing, it's too much, folks. Thank you. If you hung through this, God bless you. God bless you, because it's a lot.
Tomorrow, we've got another On Location.
Oh, I'm going to be at Freedom Fest.
Oh, yes.
Freedom Fest, Rapid City, South Dakota. You got to watch.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.